Hey everybody, this is the first of many different daily update videos that I'm planning on making for you guys. And I wanted to start this channel up for a few different reasons. The first of these is that I get just tons and tons of questions from you guys inside of my school communities and my YouTube channel comments. And instead of individually going through, I'm still going to do it obviously, but having to respond to each and every single one of them, I figure there could be a whole lot more value of making a video about the different answers that I'll have to various different questions that you guys are asking out there in the first place. These videos are going to be very, very different than my main channel. They're going to be much more just kind of off the dome. There's going to be pauses. There's not really going to be a whole lot of editing to these. And basically, they're here to give you a couple different things. The first is obviously answers to your questions that you're posting inside of my school communities, on my YouTube channel comments, and maybe even on my Instagram potentially, or my TikTok. And then the other reason is to go over anything new in AI, specifically talking about like news and other new things that are coming out. Just because my main YouTube channel is typically a little bit more structured in terms of the types of videos that we make on there, instead of the kind of more off the cuff type of videos that we'll be making on this specific YouTube channel. Just so you guys are aware of obviously the difference there and why we're doing that. And then the third thing that I really want to focus on in this channel is also just kind of showing you guys what I do on a day-to-day basis to run my different businesses, specifically the AI component and what I use AI on a daily basis for and my workflows and things like that. So that's kind of the gist of what we're going to be covering on this daily update channel. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss it. I also will be posting announcements for these YouTube videos inside of the school community, so you can obviously check those out so that way you don't miss them on that side of things. But without further ado, let's get into this first video. What is up? Quick little personal life update, because I don't really share a lot about my personal life, I don't think. I got married, as you can see, just this last weekend, and it was amazing. We just got back from our honeymoon a couple of days ago, so there's been a ton of catch up that I've been having to do. But we were super stoked. It was a beautiful ceremony, and it was an amazing honeymoon, and it was just really, it's been such a beautiful last couple of weeks, and I don't know, I'm blessed. So figured I would share that with you guys, as a little personal thing. If you guys see the ring on my finger, that is the reason why. Okay, let's talk AI though. Enough about me. Let's get into kind of some of the things that have been going on. I think what I want to start with though is this little tweet that we have right here from Andre Carpathy. You guys probably know who this is. If you don't, you're living under a rock. Please either go follow him on Twitter, or watch my YouTube videos, because we make tons of content about some of the things that this guy talks about. And it's really, really impressive, the understanding and the workflows that he implements using artificial intelligence. And I think a lot of these are really, really cool. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. All right. So basically, in this tweet, I'm not going to read it verbatim, but essentially he says that sometimes when he's having trouble getting good responses from an LLM that he's working with, one of the things that he finds really useful to do is by switching over to the /voice mode. And then he says he basically just rambles for about 10 minutes and then basically gives it a bunch of information about whatever he's trying to do. And then eventually the LLM, weirdly enough, seems to kind of get back on track. It seems like it kind of understands you on a deeper level when you just kind of have like a app session with it, basically, which is kind of cool and also very interesting. So I figured in this video, let's go ahead and actually try to do that. I'm going to open up a terminal right here. I could open up a Claude Code session, but I think terminal will just be a little bit easier to show you guys. I'm going to pull up a version of Claude. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, we got to allow all this. There's probably updates I haven't logged onto here in a second. All right, and then I'm going to shift tab over to auto mode, so that way we don't have to sit there and do everything. And then I'm going to switch over to voice by simply typing in /voice, which you'll see down here. I can toggle over to voice mode. I'm going to hit that. And then it's going to go ahead and ask to access my microphone. And then it says voice mode enabled, hold space to record, and then dictation language is English. So let's go ahead and just actually test this and see how it works. Hey, what's up? I'm just kind of talking to you right now and having a conversation in front of my audience. And I figured, I don't know why I wanted to see how voice mode actually works inside of the terminal and what you typically do when you use voice mode. How's your day been? I know you're an AI model, so you don't really have a day, but whatever. This is just an example. Okay, so that looked actually pretty impressive. If you saw there at the very bottom of my screen, we had that little animated kind of cursor that was spelling out all my words. And one of the things you might have noticed as I was doing that too is it was automatically correcting any weird transcription issues, presumably using Claude as the backend model for that. So that way we don't get some weird misspelled, garbled up transcript that makes no sense. That's pretty cool. So we can hit the enter button here and then we'll interface with Claude Code, and then basically we can just kind of continue, interfacing and talking with it like that. Now, just for reference, because many of you out there might think like, well, isn't voice mode, shouldn't it like speak back to me? Not necessarily. That is mostly a application thing. So ChatGPT, for example, is probably one of the most popular real-time voice AI agents that you can use, but the issue is it's really, really dumb right now. I'm sure you've seen those viral videos of that dude like doing the ChatGPT voice viral videos where he's like trying to talk to it basically, and it like won't do very basic things. I think like one of them was like count to 100. Yeah, this guy. I'm sure you guys have seen this, but we'll give it a watch if you guys haven't. It's pretty funny.
I got 3 of you here now. The more the merrier.
I'm not going to sit here and bore you. I feel like I'm like one of those people like forcing you to watch a YouTube video in my hand and then you guys have to, like, I'm not going to do that. But anyways, these videos are hilarious. And unfortunately, these real-time models aren't 100% like the best yet. They're still really working on them. But let's go back to the whole /voice idea here and kind of cover that one more time. Basically, the whole idea here is that if you feel like your LLM for whatever project it is you're working on doesn't understand what you're trying to work on, literally just hop into voice mode and sit there and do what I just did and ramble for like 10 minutes. Like give it just this massive text block that you can feed to it. And then it seems like more than likely it'll basically go back to kind of getting back on track. So that was the first part of this video. Second part is I wanted to hop into my community. This is the Cortex community. If you guys aren't inside of this, make sure to join. We are going to be raising the price soon. This is where all of the different things that I build on the YouTube channel, all the different skills that I have, the agentic OS, pretty much everything is going to be inside of this community. I would highly recommend joining. I put everything that I have into this, and it's personally like my baby. Like this is my personal project that I just love working on, and I'd really appreciate and love to see you guys also be inside of it as well. But okay, so I wanted to answer a few questions inside of this community. The first thing is Agent OS. This person said they weren't able to find it, and then they were asking if it was on Windows. So I went ahead and told them that it's just inside of the agentic skills and builds module, which is right here. This is where we have all of our different copy and paste skills, workflows, as well as the agentic OS. And then also the question here was, is this available for Windows? And at the current moment, no. But as you can see in the response that I gave him, we are actually currently working on a Windows version to basically make it a little bit more accessible for everyone out there. And then I never got back to him, so I figured I'd do it in this video. Cameron asked about what the timeline on that might be. And in this specific case, we don't have an exact timeline on it yet. We actually started development literally yesterday. And realistically speaking, we can get this done in the next like 24 hours. It's just making sure that there aren't any bugs or there aren't any issues as we roll out the final version, which should take less than a couple of days, if not, the next 24 to 48 hours, we should have that complete. So that's basically just kind of the first little question I wanted to answer. I did just get back from the honeymoon, so the group isn't super active just because I've been so incredibly busy, but I'm so happy to be back and to give you guys everything that I got in terms of quality and in terms of helping you guys with artificial intelligence. All right, and in terms of news, one of the biggest new things that I saw was Gemini 3.6 and Gemini 3.5. Here's the thing. I saw a couple of people send me messages about this, like they were like, oh my God, like, is this going to replace, like, is this going to change up the game? Is this going to make ChatGPT and Claude not the only two big models that we can choose from? And unfortunately, guys, that's probably not the case. Google, I think, has kind of irreparably fallen behind in terms of the actual capabilities that they're able to perform with, especially with their AI models. That's not to say that they still don't run like great models. Like, these are still great models. I just don't think they are the like frontier latest development versions that we're seeing come out of things like OpenAI with ChatGPT Soul or with Claude and Fable. Like, these are just two different things entirely. And obviously the quality difference is noticeable. It's very, very palpable. So that's just kind of something that I would recommend you guys kind of check out. But again, nonetheless, these are new models. They are interesting to see how they compare to other models out there. And they do have this specific graph that they posted, which is basically stating that it is on par with Mythos preview. ChatGPT's 5.6 Soul still outperforms it. And then, of course, the other ridiculous models that they've released still outperform it by very small margins here, which are not going to be really noticeable to most humans. These are purely just on a benchmark kind of format here as well. But that is pretty much it for today's daily update. If you guys have questions, make sure to post them down in the YouTube comments section, or if you're inside of any of my communities, whether that's the free community or the paid community, you guys can post them in here. And if you guys want to be featured in a future YouTube video with your question answered, I'll go ahead and obviously feature you guys in the video and answer your question. Hopefully this video was helpful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.